Braxcast time once again. This is the 54th episode of the Braxcast, and this is going to be an absolutely massively packed episode. I've got a backlog of stuff since I was out for 2 episodes of the Braxcast, along with just so much stuff going on with the Rippazine because 2025 is going to be their biggest year yet, and they've had an absolute smash with this beginning of the year with all the stuff that they've been releasing in pre-order collections and all the stuff that they've been fulfilling that they released towards the end of last year. So without further ado, we are going to get into it. But I want to start with a Rippazine announcement, that being Gabriel and the Guardians. Of course, this was dropped on a random Sunday in February, and then the manga was released just like about a week and a half later. Very exciting stuff to see. So if you are unfamiliar with Angel Studios, they are a Christian-based production company. They make movies. They make a lot of, they make some television as well. They were involved with The Chosen for the first 2 seasons, just about. They did Sound of Freedom with Jim Caviezel. That got a lot of play in the box office when that came out. I believe it was 2023. I could be incorrect on that. But they are also doing this animated show, Gabriel and the Guardians. It's got a very heavy anime inspiration, and they are releasing an official manga alongside of that, which is being published by Rippazine. So the first issue of that is now available. That's Gabriel and the Guardians. That's the chapter number 0. And that is going to be a 32-pager for only $5 on Rippazine. So if you're interested in that, very low to get into that. Into that book. Well, and of course, this is a limited edition, which what they're first is selling with this Canaan white cover, and I'm sure they'll have a different cover after this sells out that you can buy in perpetuity. But a really interesting thing. Absolutely love seeing the Rippazine work with Angel Studios for something like this. Thinks is a real match made in heaven. And while I do love anime and manga, I do think this is a little bit of a marketing term. Consider this as a comic book accompanying an animated show that definitely takes a lot from the manga and the anime, but I do think that is a bit of a marketing term to call it that, because manga and anime is really what's popping off amongst the community of people who would be inclined to buy something like Gabriel and the Guardians. And of course, you can watch the preview for the animated show, the first like 11 or 10 minutes of the first episode on the Rippazine YouTube page. So I would recommend watching that. I found it really interesting. And you can also become a guild member to watch that first full episode. And of course, support Angel Studios and what they do if you're so inclined to do so. And you can also, of course, go to Rippazine and get the number 0 for this manga. And of course, I'm sure the number 1 will be a bit more of a meatier experience, but very interesting to see. Absolutely love to see that happen. But we are going to go into the next announcement that I missed while I was out. And this is the 3rd issue of the Rippazine. Of course, the first 2 issues of the Rippazine were both over $100,000 in terms of their collection sales. Fans absolutely love them. I absolutely love them as well. I broke down both issues of the Rippazine on respective episodes of the Braxcast. I'm very excited to do this for this one. And this is basically a very standard one. You've got your standard edition. You've got your collectors just like that. And of course, you've got that free copy of the Rippazine you can redeem if you are a Rippazine member. And the most interesting thing coming out of this Rippazine is definitely going to be the Dirty Deeds short story. Now, this is one that is written by Carol Brown. The artist escapes me at the moment. I apologize, but Carol Brown is basically the executive assistant for the Rippazine, specifically Eric. I've been on a couple of her live streams, or I've been in the chat of a couple of her live streams, I should say. So very nice. Absolutely excited to see her writing a nice science fiction story for the Rippazine. This gives me a lot of Star Wars feels. Maybe they're going to encounter Zelen, maybe they won't. But if they do get a limited series, one-off graphic novel, that along with Zelen is going to give us a lot more insight into the otherworldly going-ons of the Rippazine, stuff that's happening outside of Earth and inside in relation to the entire universe. And also, can't really see it here on this preview preview page, but I think the character designs, especially for some of the female characters, are absolutely stunning to look at. So really excited for this short story. It's going to be a 16-pager by Carol Brown. Very excited to see what she does in the first issue of the Rippazine. So before we get into the new announcements, we've got some stuff from the Rippaverse that is actually fulfilling. What is fulfilling is Bloodruth and the Rippaverse Trinity. I've received both of those. I'm going to go over everything I've gotten from Bloodruth. But what's about to be fulfilled are the statues. So we've got the box for the Yaira statue looking absolutely beautiful. You see Rippaverse McFarlane toys, and then the Yaira Y along with some really nice ice graphic artwork in this massive box. This is going to be an absolutely massive statue. Looks like it's going to be well packaged as well. And we've also got the Isom, or I should say the young Isom statue from Iron Studios, looking absolutely fantastic. Love these boxes. So they've got these in the warehouse, and these are probably going to be going out sometime this week, very early in March. So very excited to see these. Of course, I've gotten both of these months ago when they were first launched. So I will be reviewing and looking these over on Braxcast, and one of these days, Lord willing, when I have a studio, these two statues are going to be the focal point of that. But like I said, we've got Bloodruth in fulfillment along with the Rippaverse Trinity. I'm not going to cover the Trinity on this episode in the interest of time with all the other stuff I've got to talk about, but I will definitely be going over that on the next episode, so be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you want to keep up with what's going on with the Rippaverse. But before we get into my graded copies, I want to show off the the Bloodruth plushie. This is, of course, the first plushie from the Rippaverse, and this is definitely very nice. She's got a little belt you can loop like that. I can show it off like that. So she's got that belt. Not sure if you guys can see it, but she's got the belt, she's got the jacket, she's got the hat. The hair feels nice. This feels like a very nice plushie. It's a very nice display piece. I'm going to it's kind of hard to set her on places. I can set her off like that, but she's going to take up a lot of space if I do that. So she'll be off to the side over there watching me with great disapproval. But this is the Rippaverse Metal Shaker Cup, and I absolutely love this thing. This is a 24-ounce bottle. Artwork on it looks absolutely fantastic. Feels very nice in the hand. Absolutely love this thing. And it's also got the also, if you see on this, it's got this I guess little inlet, but this helps filter out solid particulate. So this is a true shaker cup, although I've just been using it for water. But you can put one of those little metal balls, put in your pre-workout, some protein powder, and you can get a pretty smooth mixture out of that as long as you're not using too much powder. But this is definitely a really nice water bottle to have. It's got the nice clip. I wish the clip, was metal, like less plastic on this part, but the metal here feels very nice. And even with it being made in China, it still is a really nice product. And it's definitely, I'm glad they went for the quality like this. And I think this is the perfect size for it to be. It's not too big, and it's also not too small. But last bit of merch I want to show off is the keep saying Rippaverse, but this is the Bloodruth beanie. Now, when I got it, I thought it was mismanufactured because I didn't realize the rim had to be folded, and I put in a ticket, and Carol was very nice to me. She should have called me an idiot for not knowing how to wear a beanie, but that's why I'll maintain that whatever she's being paid is not enough. And while this, along with the Rippaverse Shaker, is made in China, which it would be nice if all this stuff was made stateside, but I'm sure once if the Rippaverse becomes like $100 million company, then they can have their own factory where they manufacture this merch in-house, but they're not quite there yet. They gotta contract this stuff out. And while this is a mix between polyester and acrylic, I prefer cotton or linen or wool. Especially wool would probably be good for something like this. A mix of wool and cotton probably would be the best. Don't necessarily like polyester clothing, but that's a whole other discussion. It does feel nice. It's stitched well. It feels great on the head, and this is a one size, and it fits my big noggin just fine. So this is an absolutely nice beanie. I do like it, even if it is made out of polyester and made in China. It's not the biggest deal, but that is just the Bloodruth beanie. But we're going to get into some of the more exciting stuff. This, especially in terms of the comic book fans. Now, we absolutely love graded copies here. And if I can zoom out a little bit just to show you guys what you're seeing, this is the black and white version of the book. Now, I've done the Bloodruth review on Velvet Room Publishing. You can watch that on the YouTube. That is my most recent review as of releasing this. Released it just yesterday. Guys have been responding to it so well so far, so thank you so much for that. And in that, I mentioned that the black and white version is it's the version I prefer. I don't prefer it over the colored version, but this cover is absolutely beautiful. It is a Deborah Carita cover. Of course, both the Saskas signed this. Thank you very much. And thank you to the warehouse team for sending me a 9.9. I believe this is one of the only 9.9s that I have. I think everything else is a 9.8. I might have like a 9.6, but I think this is my only 9.9, and this is the black and white for Bloodruth #1. Looks absolutely beautiful. And of course, I'll show off the back as well. Back looks absolutely fantastic. I believe Ronaldson Farrar, can never say the last name correctly, it did the back cover art for this, and it does look really, really nice. So we're going to leave that. I've got so much stuff, but this is going into the covers, the 4 covers for the regular book with colors. This is the Canaan White cover. This has cover A. I think this was the first cover that we got revealed to us. Looks absolutely beautiful. Canaan White is a fantastic A cover artist, and I think he really is very nice staying in that role. You got Bloodruth showing off. You've got a bunch of characters in the background, and of course you've got Othello and you've got her Shadow Wolves there, who play a pretty big part in the story in terms of helping Bloodruth get to or do what she needs to do throughout the pages of this book. Of course, I will show off the back, but all the backs look the same, but it's always nice to do. So that is a 9.8 cover A from Canaan White. Next, we are going to cover B. This is the Joshua Burlow cover. This is the retro cover. This is the copy I used to review in my Bloodruth #1 review. Absolutely love these retro covers. So I think the 4 covers for a book, with one of them being a retro cover, is absolutely fantastic. Although I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity to not have the approved by Rippaverse code of ethics somewhere on this, but everything else about this does have that absolute retro look, and you've got the conflict between Bloodruth and I believe, I'm not sure if this is Faye, or actually I believe it's a character I don't want to spoil, so I'm going to shut my mouth there and read the book for yourself if you want to find out who that character is. This is the back of the book, so showing that off as well. Like I said, it's always the same. Next is the pretty exciting one. This is the foil and embossed cover. So as cover C, this is done by Wagner Reese, and this is a really epic one. You've got Othello there. You've got their bird. You've got the wolves there, and I can see it here, but I'm not sure how well you guys can see this. But this is foiled and embossed, and you can very clearly see that. So I'll try and show that off. It's definitely a bit hard to show off these books. Hard to get everything framed the way I would like to, but this is an absolutely beautiful 9.8 from signed by the Saskas from the Rippaverse. So this is cover D for this is cover D for Bloodruth #1. This is Montanay's cover. He is, of course, the interior artist for this book. Did a fantastic job drawing it. And it is a family portrait with the background in blood. And, of course, I believe you've got her father looking disapprovingly over in the background there. And then that is her father there. her two brothers, her mother, and then you've got her shadow wolves there, and Bloodruth in the center as the youngest and only daughter of the Bloodruth family. Absolutely amazing to see. Although I kind of wish Jen and Sylve signed right there, because I love the shadow wolves there, and they're kind of overshadowing that signature. But that is a personal thing. This is just I love these slabs. They're really nice to look at. They're nice to have. And of course, I will show off the back. But like I said, these backs are basically always going to be the same, and that is nothing to complain about. So that is all of my graded copies I got from the Bloodruth #1 campaign. 5 in total. Absolutely massive to get something like that. But now what we are going to do is we're going to talk about the big and exciting thing from the Rippaverse in, if I can get it over here, is Isom #3. So Isom #3 is what we as the community have been waiting for quite a bit. It launched on the 21st of February, 2025. So basically just over a week ago as I'm recording this, and it's made about $370,000 at the time of recording this, and sold a little over 5,500 books, which is definitely a really good showing in independent comics, but it's tracking far behind Isom 1 and even Isom 2. And while a lot of people are going to have their takes and their opinions on this, I do think that the Isom 3 slightly outperforming other collections that were released just before it, and it doing as well as it has been doing, is indicative of the success of the Rippaverse. Now, making less money, not making $1 million in 24 hours, how could that possibly be indicative of success? I hear you say to me, Joker, and I will answer that in response by saying that this is because the Rippaverse is a lot bigger than Isom. So when Isom 1 launched, it was a really massive event that rallied a lot of people to the niche of independent comics. And Isom 2 was able to maintain a lot of that rallying momentum. And then after Isom 2, Rippaverse & Co. really expanded what the Rippaverse was. They really became a legitimate publishing company, and with the sheer amount of content that they've been releasing, a lot of that demand that they've generated for independent comics has been distributed amongst their other titles. You know, so think of Yaira, think of Bloodruth, think of Great War of Separation, think of the Alpha Core. So and you've got Gooding, you've got so many books they talked about at the Rippaverse. So you've got people who are more attached to a character like Yaira, can only afford to buy Yaira, and they're buying Yaira and they're skipping out on Isom 3 until they can buy it after the campaign. Or they're going to bundle Isom 3 with a bunch of other books sometime in the summer. So the way that people are engaging with the Rippaverse is different than they were engaging with it during those Isom 1 and 2 campaigns, where people were rallying, and these were absolutely massive events, not only for the Rippaverse, but for the niche of independent comics in general. And that generated a lot of sales and a lot of interest, and that was used to turn the Rippaverse into what it is today, where they can release all of this content that a lot of people realistically cannot engage with all of it, so they have to be selective. And while I do like Isom, the Ill-Advised arc is extremely interesting, and seeing how this ends in a 144-page epic is going to be really fun to see. It's not everybody's cup of tea. So some people are going to be more drawn to Yaira, some people are going to be more drawn to Alpha Core, and some people are going to be more drawn to stuff like Bloodruth or the Michael Copper and the Ling Renashi book. So we're going to see the end of Isom's first arc in the Rippaverse, and of course, like I said before, once we get that Isom #3, it's really going to set the stage for the next big thing to happen narratively in the Rippaverse. Absolutely excited. So you've got those 4 covers. Of course, that cover B being the retro cover, but we'll get into that. We've got the business shirt, and we've, of course, got another art book in the art of Cliff Richards, and that is along with the 4th deck of Dokuman cards, so very excited to see that. But the art of Cliff Richards is one I'm going to be really excited to see. Although a lot of people, and again, this is something I don't like to comment on the drama or the people who are very much just against Rippaverse to be against it. I wrote a whole piece, 4,000 word essay called Rippaverse Apologetics. If you want to see someone present the go to the arguments that have been presented against the Rippaverse and offer a good response to them. That's not what I'm here to do. But of course, there was a lot of controversy around Cliff Richards' art. That's why the 3D asset shirt exists. So this is going to be probably the most talked about art book. And of course, I've reviewed art of Joe Bennett and art of Will Conrad on the Braxcast. I will do this with the art of Cliff Richards. So once Isom 3 is out, there's going to be, I think, over 300 pages of art that Cliff has done for the Rippaverse. So it's going to be really exciting to see them pick out what's the best and see some really nice commentary on it, either from Cliff himself, one of the other Rippaverse artists he's worked with, maybe like Gabe or Sebastian Chang, who's the new series colorist. So it'll be really interesting to see who does that commentary and what art they pick. And I definitely will be reviewing the art of Cliff Richards. Going to be very exciting to see this one. But now I'm going to go and mention another important thing with Isom number 3 are these milestones. So this Isom 3 campaign is really bringing back that 75-day campaign format with the milestones. As of the time of recording this, we haven't hit any yet. 500 is when we get some cover reveals for Yaira Free, What Zalen What Kills Must Die, and Sersha number 1. So it would be really fun to see those. But the most exciting thing for me would be a limited edition Dokuman card at $750,000. Now, I love Dokuman, absolutely love the character of Dokuman. So more Dokuman cards is always something that I want. So that $750,000 benchmark is what I want to hit the most. And then what comes after that is the $1 million Isom action figure. So a fully articulated Isom action figure would be a really cool thing to see. Although statues and action figures aren't necessarily what gets me jumping out of bed and the most exciting thing. A lot of fans really like the action figures to collect them or to give them as toys for their kids or nieces or grandchildren even. So that'll be a really exciting one to see. And I guess another exciting thing to see would be a new concept art book. So that is at $1.25 million. So the creative process behind Isom 3 with exclusive sketches, behind the scenes, and looks at the Rippaverse universe. So taking the concept art book that was released with Isom number 1 and making probably a little bit of a meatier experience, because there's definitely a lot more art that's been released that's associated with the Rippaverse that we are at this point. So hopefully we get that. That'd be a really nice thing. And then $1.5 million is a full line of statues that will be done in collaboration with Iron Studios. And Iron Studios is, of course, doing that young Isom statue. So that's going to be really exciting to see. And then $2 million is when the Eric sketch is revealed. So one of the first sketches that Eric did and gave to Marcos Rios, the Rippaverse concept artist, is something that's been talked about, I believe, since Isom 1 was in its campaign run. So people have really wanted this. The Saskas are especially very passionate about seeing the Eric sketch. So if Isom 3 does get to $2 million, then that is something that will happen. But these are really nice milestones, or I should say, yeah, milestones or benchmarks, whatever you want to call them, stretch goals. These are really nice. Hopefully we hit all of them, but if we get to 750K, or 750K, I'll be decently happy, and 1.25 million, I'd be over the moon on that. But those are the milestones. Now we're going to go over some preview art. So we've got an introduction of a new character. So of course this is spoilers for Isom number 2, but after Isom number 2, Darren Fontano has a falling out with Santuan because of the conflict that Isom had with him and him not being able to overcome that. So it looks like he's hiring someone else to go after Isom. Of course, you got Isom suited up. So the conflict with Darren Fontano is going to come to some sort of head in Isom number 3, and I imagine he's going to be part of it. So looking very interesting, and I absolutely love this artwork from Cliff Richards and Sebastian Chang. And now we've also got, and I'm wanted to mention this, is that Bloodruth is going to maintain her role in the Isom series, at least for Isom number 3. And after reading Bloodruth number 1, I am even more in love with this character than I was before. So it's going to be really exciting to see Bloodruth in Isom number 3 and how she plays into the conclusion of the ill-advised arc. And of course, this looks like she's reading in a library. And if you read Bloodruth number 1, you'll probably have a pretty good idea of where that library is, but that's getting into spoilers. So again, read Bloodruth number 1. If you have it and you're waiting for it, then just be patient. And if you haven't bought it, what are you doing? Go to the Rippaverse store and get yourself a copy. But we're going to go over the covers of Isom number 3 in more detail. This is, of course, the Kane and White cover, cover A. As I say, he is the cover A, or the A cover artist for the Rippaverse. Does an absolutely fantastic job with he did a fantastic job of Isom number 1, and he also maintains that fantastic job that he did in Isom number 3. Absolutely love this cover. So next we've got the B cover, and the B cover is the retro cover, and of course you've got that Rippaverse Codes of Ethics, like I mentioned before. You've got that little character box there, and you've got a whole bunch of text here. What's wrong with his powers? He might be losing his powers. Max Salient is probably the guy with the man bun that was trying to whack Isom. That I showed in the interior art. You got Fontano's revenge hitting close to home, and you've got the Savage and Leprido. The Savage Leprido. So very interesting. Absolutely love these retro covers. And it's always these character introducing that gives us a little bit of insight into what the Rippaverse or the development of the Rippaverse, I should say, especially as we're still in these pretty early stages of the Rippaverse narratively, and we're only going to start to leave that once we get Isom 3 and we can digest it as a fan base. But that is cover B, the retro cover. Absolutely love to see the retro cover. Now this is cover C from Will Conrad. This is going to be foil and embossed, and they always do a fantastic job with their foil and embossed covers. This must be the Prido that he is facing off against, and you've got a really nice figure of Isom there, drawn absolutely beautifully. Love the way it's framed and everything. So wonderful to see Will Conrad, of course, being the artist on all the Dokuman cards, and the interior artist for Gooding the Polymath does a fantastic job of drawing this cover, and hopefully he does a lot more work for the Rippaverse because, like I said, very, very talented. And now the D cover, this is going to be the mass print cover, is done by Kyle Cacao, if I am saying that correctly. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name, because this is an absolutely fantastic piece of artwork. You see Isom punching the ground here. He's clearly in an oil rig that's on fire, so there's some clear conflict there. Absolutely love the way his suit looks. Of course, love that Isom logo right there. So this is an absolutely fantastic cover. Absolutely love looking at it, and this being the mass print cover, I think, is very fitting. But that is the D cover for this book, or for Isom number 3. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. An absolutely jam-packed episode of the Braxcast, because of all the stuff that I had missed, I had to get caught up on. Of course, all the stuff that is fulfilling. But stay tuned, because there's going to be even more stuff. So I got another set of Dokuman cards to go over. Got the Rippaverse Trinity, and of course, this month, I believe Yaira number 2 and Great War of Separation are going to fulfill. So there's going to be so much stuff to talk about with the Rippaverse, and you're going to be privy to all of it if you keep up with the Braxcast. But that's all I have to say. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Joker is out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Rippaverse.